How's it going?
Totally forgot about the song.
About what?
Fucking song. The intro song that YouTube won't let us fucking have.
I know. I have contacted all the people about it, and I cannot get rights to the first 30 seconds of that song.
Remind me tomorrow. I'm gonna call some people, but one of the people that we get to have on tonight is one of my best buddies in the industry. I don't have a lot of people I would call my friend. No offense, fucking anybody out there. I'm just what do you call it? A real big introvert, and I don't click with a lot of people real well. But this is a guy I really click with, so I'm pretty fucking stoked to have him on, dude. So let's fucking bring him in.
All right.
What's up?
Hey, Chris Ward from the Reptile Ward. Fuck yeah,
it's me.
Dude. It's you.
Thanks for having me on, guys. This is awesome.
Of course.
Fuck yeah, bro.
Sorry it couldn't happen sooner, but you know, the move and all that fun stuff.
So that's like the first question
good.
is how did the move go? That's literally our first set question.
Yeah.
That's really cool. You know what? So like the residential part of the move is done. The snake stuff is basically done. Still waiting for a few clutches to hatch at the old place. And we're waiting for a few girls delayed. Didn't want to try and move them during some bad timing there. And then, you know, we're inevitably going to go through having to move that entire adult rack. And we have some girls that are, you know, anywhere in that building stage. And that risk is just going to happen. But
yeah, dude.
For the most part, everything's been great so far. I've been moving any of the new clutches to the new place so we don't have to worry about it. And yeah, it's been going awesome. And like I said, the residential part of the move's done. So now it's a couple snake racks and an incubator and we're done.
Nice. How did you so walk us through how you moved everything?
So you know what? It's actually like we got really, really lucky. We didn't realize we had a bunch of extra racks just sitting in Nick's garage because we have a really big problem of just buying them like secondhand, like ARS racks whenever they're on sale anywhere locally. So we had like 2 extra 1039s and like 4 extra like 5040 levels, just like disassembled. Yeah, so like basically what we did was we build up half a rack. I'd empty my rack, put everything into snake bags, bring it over, set them up, go back, clean that half the rack, take it apart, bring it over. So it was a process, but it could have been a lot worse.
That's actually not too bad. So what was the distance? How far did you move?
Oh, not far at all. So basically what we did is we're converting a room. Nick rents an entire house. So he was originally using a much smaller room in the house for his snake room. But now what we're doing is we're converting one of his bedrooms. So we're just turning that whole thing into just basically a whole facility because that one room probably has more square footage than my entire apartment.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it's a good sized room. So everything will be able to run out of there. Incubators, all the snakes, his geckos. So it'll be interesting.
So we're gonna see more of Nick then.
Maybe just because like I'm still planning on doing more of my live stuff from my place just because it's easier. It's funny. Kathleen made a comment in the chat that she doesn't see the banner. So I had a banner made that'll debut on the Friday Night Live this week. I just realized I forgot to buy something to fasten it with. But yeah, basically Kathleen made me sort of a new graphic just to have on a banner for the lives. And it showed up way sooner than expected. I wasn't supposed to get it till like the 20th. And it showed up yesterday.
Oh,
so
nice.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to be able to get it. Well, that's going to be annoying. Get it.
Yeah, right.
And one of my cats is playing with a toy. That's one of the downsides of being here. I can't like shut myself in a room. But it looks amazing. Like she did a fantastic job on it. Actually, you know what? She's getting mad at me for not having it displayed. So hold on. I'm just gonna show it off because it looks cool. But
that does look cool.
Yeah, it looks super sick.
Yes.
Yeah, dude, I like the outer space background.
Yeah. Well, my tattoos are all like spacey and shit. I love space stuff, so
I love it. That's what I based our announcement off of. I saw you had the new logo, so I was like, all right, we'll go with space. That works for me.
It's actually really funny because Kathleen was like, damn, that new fucking banner is really getting around, even though you haven't like shown it off yet. And I was like,
yeah.
No. So the new logos on our Facebook and our Instagram are also from that said banner. I just loved how it looked so much. I wanted to use it for more than the banner, and I actually think we're going to end up using it for our like displays when we're finally back at expos up here. So
you could do a lot with that too. Like Brandon and I have always talked about building the brand, right? So he's like has Oodles and Noodles. We talked about him doing like holding a bowl of like a ramen bowl with snakes in it. Shit. We do Royal Reptiles. So I have the crown and the dragon. And so if you wanted to go, you could do like a snake and a spaceship. You know?
A snake.
I don't want to go.
Rick and Morty fan? Can we talk snakes in space?
I don't want to go stepping on too many toes because there's already a lot of like space themed names out there. I just like it for behind my background. I don't think I want to lean into it too heavy for.
I get you.
It being part of the brand. I just wanted something that was really cool and eye catching, and it'll just be a nice static background, right? So that's.
Oh yeah, dude!
Definitely.
It does pop an accent what you have now, really.
Well, and that's the thing is too. I was like. So it wasn't. It's beautiful. Like it was reflecting the light weird on here, but once it's up, I think it's going to look even better.
It showed up really well.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it looked really nice.
So before we move on to the next thing, we jumped right into it real hard, dude. Introduce yourselves for people who don't know who you are.
Oh, okay, yeah, I get. You know, it's been a minute since I've been on a show where people are like, "Who are you?"
Yeah, right.
I'm so used to just doing my own show. So I'm Chris. I am one half of the Reptile Ward and definitely the more public half. The other half is Nick, awesome dude. He's more behind the scenes, but he's in a video here and there for us. We've been doing this, man, I want to say we're going on 5 years now as the Reptile Ward, Nick and I, but I've actually been doing this closer to 15 years. Yeah, we worked for Billy for a couple years, and now we're focusing on our own stuff.
Good shit.
Very cool.
Yeah, so about your own stuff. I know you there's two species you and I both like a lot. We're going to touch on both of them. The first one we're going to talk about is the Rhactodactylus leachianus. So
oh my goodness.
I saw you got yourself a new Omni. So
that's actually Nick's. So that's actually one of the reasons that I'm happy the whole collection's going there. Because he has a bunch of different Rhactodactylus species. Like he has a couple Chihuahuas. He has the lychee. I think he has a couple gargoyles. And he just sort of plays around with them to play around. He's doing crested gecko Chihuahua hybrids right now, just to have them. We're not going to sell them or anything. They're just
it's just for you.
Yeah. But one of the reasons I'm happy that the whole collection is going to be there is because now I'm going to get to some Max.
Speaking of space themed,
he was who I was thinking of when I said that.
I was thinking of too. Max, we were just talking about you earlier. You missed it. But
indirectly.
I was going to indirectly talking about you.
You were in the back of my mind, and I was thinking of you the whole time. I'm not going to disagree. Also, Max messaged me after this. I tried to send you a voicemail the other day, and it didn't work. And it was regarding your rack question survey thing on Instagram. Sorry, bud. I suck. Being full time is hard. This is way more than I thought it was going to be. I was like, what the fuck is this, dude? I thought I did. How did I manage to do this and the Army before? There's no, I don't get it. But anyhow, what's up with the lychee plans? So what are the plans with
So the plans for the lychees were always, well, we only have one right now. But before all this COVID bullshit, Nick got his lychee at the last expo that we had here. And the plan was always for me to eventually get one and then maybe get another pair of them down the line just to sort of have them. Because I've been incubating a friend of mine's Partho lychee eggs on and off for probably 2 years, just hoping one makes it. Just never happened. But I probably tried 14 to 16 eggs.
Jesus.
Wow.
So yeah, I think it's about time I give up on that and just go get one.
Yeah, fuck it, dude.
There you go.
I mean, I bite the bullet on it all the time. I'm just like,
it's just crazy once you get looking at them, and then you get looking at all the price tags on them. It's funny because I see that and I get all iffy, but I see like a $10,000 snake, and I'm like, what's 10 grand? I mean,
Yeah.
bro, who was the fuck
$10,000.
I can't remember who the fuck I was buying it from, but I like, okay, it was some Desert Ghost stuff, and I was buying it from a guy at a show. It was like double het DG Clown, like Codom combo females. And this was like a year and a half ago. So I'm like, hey, I'll buy all of these. And he says, oh, okay. Well, we work out a deal. So he's like, and the place had a metal roof, so he couldn't get reception. So I was like, okay, I gave him my card that shows my dog is my like emotional support animal. I was like, hold this. This is my collateral. I will be back. I need to find an ATM. Go find this ATM. I come back. He gives me my card. So I start counting out the cash, right? And then this older couple comes up, starts standing next to me, and I'm counting it by the thousands, and I was like, the 100, 100. Okay, there's 1,000, 100, 100, there's 2,000. And so once I'm done, the guy is like, you could have bought a car for that. I was like, yeah, or I could have bought these snakes.
Yeah. Yep.
Like,
So what's really funny is I actually have a story that I can kind of piggyback off of your story with that's somewhat similar. So if people haven't seen it, actually on the thumbnail of this video, these two actually picked it as one of the animals. I know. You missed it. I didn't have anything to hang it with. I forgot to pick up some rope at the dollar store today, and it was like one of my only things to do. Yeah, I literally had to go to work, feed my sister's cat, and go to the dollar store, and then make it to this chair 4 hours after I finished work. Like, it wasn't that difficult, and I still didn't manage to do it.
Damn.
I want to see the bets on if I get it for Friday or not. I want to see the over/under on that.
We should start a poll.
I should.
A poll on the Reptile Revolution when this is over.
That's funny.
Like, did Chris get his banner up in time?
So sorry, piggybacking on the car thing. Nick and I bought a leopard special double het monsoon pied female from Billy.
Holy shit.
And it was one of the animals that you had up on the thumbnail for this video. I believe it's the one on the bottom. You'll harass me more than daily. I'll have messages before this is over. So Billy offered this animal to somebody else, like reluctantly, because he needed some cash at the time. And said person sort of like played around with the idea and then decided not to get it and kind of ghosted Billy. Like, not ghosted him, but just like didn't reply to Billy in the time that Billy said he needed an answer by, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of dick.
So at the same time, Nick was considering buying a car, right? And I have a beautiful gunmetal 2010 Dodge Charger that I don't drive. It was just off the road, right? So Nick has like 15 grand put aside to buy a new car. Well, not maybe the whole thing, but a good chunk of a new car, whatever, right? Well, here comes Billy, and he's like, hey, guys, so... And he didn't actually offer the animal to us. He just told the story. And I kind of went to Nick, and I was like, hey, I have an idea. So I basically told him, hey, why don't you take my Charger? Keep it on the road. I'm happy, right? Like, keep it on the road, keep it up and running, essentially, and you're doing more than I am for it. Yeah. I was like, why don't we like take 2 or 3 grand of the money we're going to spend on a new car, put it into this one, put in whatever you want to, like, if you're going to be driving it for a couple of years, go ahead. I was like, why don't we take the 10 grand and go buy this animal? And So we ended up with this leopard special double het monsoon pied female. And her name is literally the car. Because it was the money he spent on his car. So
that's the best story.
That is fabulous.
Oh my god, dude. Oh, I don't know about this.
I only got 2 speeding tickets on that car in the 10 years. No, I didn't drive it 10 years. 6 years. Okay, that's pretty bad.
Hey, I have a lot of tickets.
And not really.
Yeah.
I've actually not got many speeding tickets in my entire life. I think it's like 4 total since I could
over
drive.
a lot, but I can cry on command.
Oh.
So I don't get tickets very often.
Yeah, they would probably just laugh if I tried that tactic.
Yeah, that's what all the guys say. They're like, yeah, they just be like, and not only that, I play really dumb. Like they'll be like license and registration, and like I'll get my license out and then pull everything out of my glove box and like hand it to the cop.
Is this it?
You know? And there's like receipts and stacks of stuff. Like I just play so dumb. They just look at me and I'm just like crying, you know, really quietly. Like,
Jesus
oh my
Christ.
God.
I can't even. No, go ahead.
I think I've been pulled over probably like a dozen times, and I've had 1 speeding ticket.
Oh, damn.
And
That's
usually I'm going like 70 and a 55. Like it's not like a general, you know. It's not like you're kind of speeding. It's like you're really going.
See, that's that bullshit right there. Look at that.
Yeah.
So I get busted for speeding so much I can't even go to Italy. I can't because this one time I had to go to Italy because my dudes were jumping into a different country and they were bringing this cannon and the cannon broke. So I had to drive from Germany to Italy and bring them this hydraulic fluid to fix this cannon. And the only reason why I wasn't on the jump is because I was going back to the States in like a week. So I'm tired, I'm sleep deprived, I don't want to fucking be there. I'm in goddamn Italy, so I'm speeding back to Germany on the Autobahn. And on the Autobahn, right, there are speed limits. There's 3 types of limits. There's your 80 is your minimum. And then through like if you're going past a village or something like that, you have to be 130 or below or unrestricted. I just went 160 the whole way from Italy to Germany. I didn't stop. And there's definitely they sent me the fucking ticket. It's not in English, but there's definitely me just like this with my fucking Audi driving. Goddamn, they got me good. So I can't even go. That was 2015. So I still can't go back there because I have not paid that.
Legally, I'm not allowed to drive in Michigan or New York State. So.
Oh my God.
There you go.
I have done it multiple times, but legally.
Yeah, legally.
Yeah.
Like at the border, they don't care if I come in. It's just, I guess, if a cop sees me while I'm there. I don't know. Happened like 12 years ago.
Yeah, they probably won't give a shit. Be like, "Whoa,
yeah."
I didn't even.
And if they do, I'll just be like, "Oh, I had no idea." Like,
yeah, like I'll go back. I'll go home right now, bro. It's really not that big of a deal.
That's what I said. The time I actually got a ticket, I was not going that high over, and they screwed me because he clocked me going 55, but pulled me over in the 45, like it was right in that transition, right? And it was the day before Christmas, and I had a 6-month-old baby screaming bloody murder in my back seat. And he pulled me over. He's like, "Where are you heading?" I'm like, "We're trying to make it to this family dinner." She's screaming her head off. And he's like, "Well, you're going to have to wait, and I'm going to have to give you a ticket." I was like, the one time I actually get a ticket, and I think I had like a legit reason to be going somewhat over the speed. Like, I live 2 miles away. She's been screaming for 40 minutes. Like, I need to get home.
Oh, that sucks.
That's crazy.
Yeah, should have just thrown her off. No, I wouldn't say throw off the cliff.
Red's like, just throw her in the snow. She won't be crying for much longer.
You just hold them under the water till the bubbles stop. That's all. You know, shake them until all the cracky.
I'm sorry, Chris. This is the live.
Shake them until the cracky sounds are gone. That's what I say.
I agree with Brandon.
Yeah, 100%. You know, it's like how many kids does it take to paint a barn red? Depends how hard you throw them. You know, like if we were monetized, we'd be fucked.
We'd be done. They're like, we'll monetize
It might
every
be fucked
episode
anyway.
except this.
Oh
one.
yeah, right.
Like, we are not touching this one.
Look, I'm really good with kids. It would just be, I just, being a dad is not something I want. But speaking of kids and how other people's are fucking assholes, what's your pet peeves for some customers? Because those are somebody's kids. Right? That's somebody's fucking kid. I'd be like, this dude.
That didn't sound like it was smooth, but it was smooth.
Yeah, I'm smooth, bro.
Yeah. No, I liked it.
Oh my gosh, I'm crying.
So as much as I hate the like let me ask my wife bullshit that everybody says, my least favorite is the people that'll message you constantly until you get to the price and then just flatline on you.
Just ghost. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
See?
The worst.
The ghosters are the worst. And it's not like I feel obligated to anybody, but like, especially if you post an animal, you're getting a lot of inquiries on it, and you're talking to somebody a lot, like for a little while, and then they disappear, and you're talking to other people too, and you're like,
am I holding this for this guy or not?
Pretty interested. Like, I'd feel like a dick if he like his mom had a heart attack or something, and you know what I mean? And so like I always like try and hold out, and after a couple hours, I'm like, all right, fuck this, and it always fucks me because the next day they're like, hey.
Yeah. At least say something though.
Yeah, like, no. If that was me, I'd be like, dude, still want snake. Very busy. We'll send money tomorrow or something.
Yeah. Or even just like had emergency or got busy at work or going to bed. Something. Like I always get the people that work like the third shifts or second shift. They go to bed at like 2 p.m. or whatever. And you're like,
I work with Nick. He literally goes to bed and wakes up whatever the fuck he wants. Yeah. So sometimes he's awake when I get up for work at 7. Sometimes he's going to bed when I get up for work at 7. I have no idea.
God damn.
That's my life.
No, I feel that though. I had one of those this morning on a cinnamon clown combo female, and it was just like talked to him all day yesterday, messaged me this morning, nothing. And I already shipped out. I told you I just shipped out like 6 weeks.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I sold and shipped 6 snakes today, and not one of them went to that motherfucker. But it's, if I make something, I have no problem keeping it. That's why I made it. And I at least always tell people, like, sorry, bro, I'm not interested. Because ghosting the breeder always fucks the breeder.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Sure. Like, if I'm ever talking to somebody about a snake and it's like they're asking too much or whatever, they're like, oh, what do you think? I'd be like, sorry, man, it's not for me. Oh, why? Price too high? I don't know, man. I'm just, thanks for your time. Like, something.
I just got to pass, not the direction I want to go
just
or whatever.
Not interested.
I also hate it, like, when you post, because I tend to post, like, right after the first shed. Like, I'll post the whole clutch or whatever. People be like, dude, when that thing's ready, I want it. And I'm like, cool. Like,
oh, these guys.
Yeah, and then you message them when it's ready, right? Because I always give those people first dibs, but I don't hold the animals. Like, it's available when it's available. If you have the money then, great. But I've done too much holding in the past. It's like, you've known for 3 weeks that you were going to need at least, and that's if the animal ate consistently and got up to it, like, at the minimum, you've known for at least 3 weeks.
And that's why what I've started doing is after the second consistent meal, I take my deposit now.
Yeah, that's solid.
Because once that animal hits 3 meals, now I'm going to start considering whether I actually want to sell it or not. Once it hits 6 meals, it's probably ready to go. 7 meals in, and I can have the money in my pocket. No, 2 meals in, give me the deposit, or stop wasting my time.
Yes.
Yeah, you can.
And they're like, I want it, and then you send it, and they're like, oh, dude, I can have the money by Friday, and then you wait till Friday, and then Friday comes around, and they're like, oh man, it's like, no, guys. I mean, I hate to be that way because I get it. I've been in that situation where I want something I can't afford, but you just can't. You know what I mean? Another one will come along, or something different will happen. It's like you can't hate, and then you get the people that are like, oh, I can't believe you won't hold it, blah blah blah. This is so shitty, and I'm just like, I take payment plans, and they're like, no, I'm
just straight up with people now.
Yeah,
I'm just straight up with people now. I just straight up tell them, I'm like, hey, I'm not getting fucked because 2 weeks from now you decide you want to buy a fucking crossbow or some stupid bullshit and you change your mind. Like, you're taking no risk here and I'm taking all the risk. So tough.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I take a 25% non-refundable deposit, non-refundable, non-transferable. Like if you tell me that you're going to buy the snake and you put 25% down and then 2 weeks later you decide you don't want it anymore, like, I'm sorry, dude, because I just held on to that snake for 2 more weeks. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I could have sold it to someone else that maybe went out and found a different animal because I told them I didn't have anything available. I just had that happen with a monarch that's posset pied, and he looks like he's going to prove out. You know, it's one of those sales. And I had someone last year got a hold of me. He's like, hey, I want a monarch 100% pied. And I was like, dude, you're not going to find it because no one has a visual pie that's 100% het that's breeder size. Like, it's just not going to happen, you know? And so I sent him a message. I'm like, look, this is what I have. This is probably the best you're going to find this year if you really need it this year. And he's like, that's really cool looking. And it's definitely different. And I'm like, yeah, I really think it'll prove. And I never heard back from him. 2 weeks go by. I was like, all right, next person. Like, I have other people that are asking me for these. I move on. Literally, like, the thing hadn't even shed yet. I had someone say, look, I want it. Send me pictures after it sheds. Pretty sure I'm going to take it. I was like, yep. 2 weeks, that guy messaged me back and goes, man, send me pictures after it sheds. I definitely think I'm interested. I was like, sorry, dude, I got someone ahead of you now that took the time to message me and say, I think I'm interested. I said, I get if you want to run it by your buddies or whatever, because it's a big investment animal, but then tell me that. Say, hey, I'm going to run this by a few people. I'll get back to you. Like, I would have been like, sure, dude, like, I'll hold it for you till it sheds out, but it just ghosts and not say anything.
Yeah, a lot of times when I'm talking to people, I'll say like, "Oh, hey, I got to run it by Nick. Don't hold the animal for me. Like if somebody else comes knocking while I'm taking my sweet ass time, fucking sell it, man. That's my bad." Like, so I always tell people, I'm like, listen, I don't know if I'll call Nick and I'll tell him about it, and he'll be like, "Fucking yes, go do it now." Or he'll be like, oh, hey, you know, I got to check my finances tomorrow, whatever. So I never tell somebody like, oh, hey, I'll get back to you tomorrow. Don't sell that one. Like, no, if you can make a fucking sale, make the sale. Yeah. That exact animal might not come up again, but something else that will work will.
Yep.
So.
And I feel like that's a breeder's mentality. Like, I feel like there's
and I mean, it's always nice to get what you need. You know what I mean? It's always great to get exactly, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. So.
Yeah, I had to buy a lot of stuff. Like, I don't work with any sort of hypo stuff, but I have a lot of animals in my collection that are 100% at hypo. Because when I was building it, I couldn't get the genes that I wanted without.
Was that back when everybody was dumping hypo? So it was just everything?
Yeah. So that was that. And then even not yesterday.
That went really well for me.
Yeah, I did. Shit. Yeah, no, everything was hypo, and I was just like, no thanks. All right.
I've yet to hatch a hypo. Yeah, never.
You did just hatch a dreamsicles. No.
Yeah, hatched 3, only 2 survived though.
Yeah, but hey.
I'm pretty sure I have a 1.1 yellow belly dream. So not gonna complain still.
Right.
Oh, Jesus, tap dancing Christ.
What?
No. No. And
I love hypo and clown. I love hypo and clown, and that's where I draw the line.
I like pretty much hypo and dark stuff, GHI, black pastel, GHI, Mojave, hypo, clown's badass. I think hypo, I don't hate on hypo. I think it's a great mutation, but I can't see myself working it like a project. I don't have the vision for that morph. So, and here, listen, this is something all of you should ask yourselves before you buy into something. Do you have the right intentions to take that project in a proper direction? And do you have the collection that will be the jet fuel to take it there? Those are two huge things you need to think about. And for me, I think actually, yeah, my collection would work really well with hypo. It's so fucking dark. But yeah, dude. But all right. So Chris, you got out for a little bit. You got out for a while, and you came back in. So I know you had goals before you got out, and since you came back in. So since you've came back in, what are some of the goals you've met?
So weirdly enough, and this is just kind of by like bad luck and happenstance. So before, when I was in, basically any recessive, even albino stuff, it wasn't cheap. It wasn't like through the roof expensive, but like a pair of say pastel het clowns, a pair, a 1.1 was still like, I think $8,000. Like
Shit.
a buddy of mine had literally a pair, and we waited on them for like 4 years and nothing ever happened. It was wild. But one of my goals before was to just make some sort of visual recessive. And also back then, because this was a big thing back then, I wanted to make a world's first. It was such an accomplishment back in the day.
Back then.
Now I kind of achieved one of those goals, but the animal didn't end up making it, which sucks. So I actually hit a super pastel Woma Fire, which super Woma Fly, the first one ever made. Came out, was a girl, shed, ate a couple times, just died randomly. And the entire clutch ended up dying, which is super weird. Just one after another. So I think there was something genetic or something going on with it.
Yeah, that's wild.
But since coming back, there's been two, and we actually knocked them both off in the last couple of months. One, I really wanted to make a fucking pied because I had never even been interested in making pieds before. I wasn't even a big fan until Nick came along and like the Reptile Ward started. Because I didn't really look that closely at them. I just wasn't a big fan of them. But ever since getting into them, I've really wanted to hatch one. And now we've hatched, I think, like 30 of them this year.
Yeah.
And then the other one, that's, that was a obtainable goal for now, was our first double recessive. And we just hit 3 of those. So that was pretty awesome. And then last year we accidentally hit one of our other goals, which was to hatch our first visual desert ghosts. And that was, a complete accident. We bought a pewter het DG female breeder. Didn't know she had been paired. Didn't know the breeder did anything with her. She didn't eat for 3 months. Dropped a clutch of 7 eggs, and we hit 5 DGs.
That's awesome. I always love it when the odds work out like that.
Well, it's actually kind of funny because I just cut a clutch 2 hours ago. Yeah, I'm not going to say what it was because I want to make sure what I got is exactly what I got. But if you guys want, I'll tell you after. And it was het to het, and I'm pretty sure I hit something ridiculous. Like, not something, not even I should have in my collection, but most of the people in Canada. Yeah, it's pretty nuts. I just have to make sure it is what it is.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Well, I hope it is.
I'm losing my mind. It's crazy. I actually went live in the Discord. I was in the voice chat.
Okay.
And I cut the clutch. So, I'll show you guys a picture. Actually, you know what? I won't say what it was. I'll see if this pops up, though. So, it's obviously a pinstripe combo. I don't know how well this is going to show.
Yeah, it looks pinstripe. Okay, am I allowed to say what I think it is?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's a Lemon Blast Desert Ghost, or maybe.
Nope, no DG in that.
Oh fuck! Okay, never mind that.
You won't guess it out of the blue until like.
No,
I will because I'm trying to think like stuff that most people in Canada wouldn't have. Like that's
the other thing.
Yeah. Anyway. We'll find out after the show. That's gonna kill Brandon. He's gonna be over there.
We will find out after the show.
What's funny was I was actually gonna text you, Brandon, and just be like, dude. But I was like, no, I'm not gonna tell him beforehand, just in case. I don't want the entire time we're on here to be talking about that. I was like, I'll wait.
Yeah.
That was a good idea.
Yeah. But it's pretty crazy. And weirdly enough, it was there's a combo pinstripe girl that was het for something to another to a good powerhouse male we have, but it was het to het. And I got 6 eggs, and everything's fucking pinstripe. So
pinstripes are really, I don't know.
I love pins. It's just really hard to see because I think there's like a potential of 8 genes. It's going to be so hard to know exactly what's what because like I don't want to get into it any further without giving it away, but it's wild, man. I
have a buddy that has a pinstripe. This will be her 4th year breeding. The past 3 years, she's huge, lays anywhere from like 8 to 11 eggs, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And every single hatchling has had pinstripe.
So
she's ever had.
It's funny you would say this because there's a guy who doesn't live too far from me, and he has a degree in genetic science.
Mm-hmm.
And him and I talk true genetics all the time. And he's like, he thinks that there's a super pin because he has a pin that is 24 years old, has never gave him a normal.
And there's actually a bunch of different, like, older school breeders that believe the same.
This guy's real old school like that, yeah.
Yeah, like, I know Barchek made a few that he claims are, and he sold them, and the people that he sold them to claim that they've never got a normal. I know a couple other people have claimed it, but it's one of those things that just, like, people don't talk about enough that it's never going to really get the recognition to where it's a believable thing one way or another, right? Because especially if the super of pin is like the super of leopard.
Yeah, where you can't tell.
You can't visually tell. You can always just be like, oh, maybe you just got good odds, or oh, maybe you just got shitty odds. Like, it sucks. So
damn, man, that's
But my first thought when I cut that clutch was I was like, I wonder if there was pinstripe on both sides of the pairing that made that mom. Like, wouldn't that be weird?
Yeah, actually.
I almost just gave away what the clutch was by accident by saying, wouldn't it be nice if I hit a... No,
yeah.
I know. I saw the gears. I saw the gears turning.
Yeah, I did too. We'll move off the topic so there's no flips of the tongue while we're on here.
Sounds good. Thank you.
So, Chris, what is a professional snake breeder to you? Like, what would be the definition?
So it's actually funny because I feel like the further I've gotten into this, the more my answer has changed.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started, I would tell you somebody that does this full time that also does it well. Like, they make enough money not just to live, but to, constantly update their animals, and live a half decent life, not just like barely get by and all that kind of stuff. My opinion on that has changed a lot over the years. And honestly, by now I'm thinking anybody that gives up more than, this number is hard to nail down, but say even 20% of their free time. 20% of your free time. That is a lot. That is more than a day a week.
Yeah.
Right? If you are giving up 20% of your free time to this hobby, first of all, if you're not selling the animals, you're doing something that's generating income if you're working that much with them. But I'd say, if you get to a point where you're putting up 20% of your spare time, that to me would be a professional. I don't care if you're making animals that you're selling on Kijiji for $50. Would I consider those people, top tier professionals? No, but there's shitty professionals in every single profession in the entire world. Like, there's people that shouldn't be doing a lot of things.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's funny that you say that, Chris, because I used to show horses before we got into the snake thing, right?
Yep.
And there's an amateur level and there's a professional level. If you take $5 from someone because you rode their horse once in the warm-up ring and they paid you, you have to show as a professional after that point.
That's
as
crazy.
Soon as you are making money or selling a service,
oh wow,
you must work as a professional. So a lot of people are like, well, how does that work? Because they're full-time amateur riders. They get paid room and board. They get all their groceries bought for them, all their clothing bought for them, their car bought for them.
They get the necessities.
Money never transfers hands, right? Like you don't get a paycheck every week. So there are some loopholes to that. But yeah,
that's crazy though.
As soon as you accept money for any form of riding, training, active service, you can obviously do like we have grooms and that kind of stuff. That's a little bit different. But if it has anything to do with actual showing of the horse in any way, as soon as you receive money, you are considered a professional and you have to show at a professional level. And if they find out that you're not showing at a professional level and you have been paid, they will strip you of your title, all your points, like
that's
everything.
crazy.
Like you are done. You are out of the league. So
I actually have just one more thing to kind of add to that, because I'm sure a lot of people might disagree with sort of how I put it at first. But I know where you said it, but basically, like, being professional doesn't mean you have to be good at it, right? But when you look at the line between doing anything hobby and professionally, it's not always money. Do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people like collect, and well, it's so hard.
This is a tough one. This is a hard question.
It is. But basically, the point I was going to make was, if you know a guy that has 4 fish tanks and he has a ball python in each one, and every once in a while he tries to breed his male to one of the other 3 females, if they're 3 females, like maybe he doesn't even fucking know.
Right.
I would consider that a hobby breeder. If you know a person that has any amount of racks, that means that the thought of snake breeding, and at least the thought of creating something that will make them some kind of money, has more than likely crossed their mind. Yeah. If you've gotten to the point where you're buying racks, then the chances are you've at least thought about it. So to say, oh, well, 10 snakes isn't really a hobby, like, no, 10, that's still a lot of fucking pets, no matter how many pets you have.
Yeah, it is.
Like, it's still 10 fucking animals that you have to care for, clean, feed, fucking all that, right? So, honestly, I think once you get to the point where you're thinking about your future of keeping ball pythons and your space concerns, that might be the tipping point for me. But it's so fucking hard.
Yeah.
I could believe that. I think it's almost how the breeder conducts themselves, as far as, like, you know, when you can tell when someone, if a young person's mature because how they carry themselves, how they speak, how they present themselves, the way they dress, do they make eye contact when they talk? You're right, racks, right? They look really, you know, they have a look to them. Your banner, it's professional. You know, it's a brand. You're putting, like you said, more than 20% of your time, a lot of your personal funds into this to start it up.
Well, sorry, just to cut you off really quick, Brandon.
Go ahead, please.
When I say 20% of my time, if people are thinking I just mean cleaning, feeding, like, no. Most of us are spending all of our time somehow involved in this hobby. I have at least one conversation always ongoing about snakes or about something to do with snakes. Like, I would say this probably consumes 85% of my time. So that includes time I'm working, not even my free time.
My girlfriend's watching this right now, and she's definitely like she's probably laughing because we'll be talking about something, and then I'll make it something about snakes, and she'll be like, "How did you make something not snake related about snakes?"
Completely about snakes.
Yeah.
I do it all the time.
That's funny, yeah.
Like you said, you always have a conversation ongoing about snakes, right? It's like, I'll be doing something, and Kyle will be like, won't you pay attention to me? I'm like, I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm talking at the same time. I'd be like, well, then what did I just say? And I can multitask very well, so I'll repeat like back verbatim what he said, and it pisses him off because he cannot have a conversation and speak. Like, he can't have 2 ongoing conversations at once. And I'm like, dude, I wish I could have like a projector screen on what goes through my mind at like shows and shit. Because I can be having a conversation and listening to 2 or 3 other people having different conversations and still be focused on what I'm doing. But if you can train your mind to do that, dude, the shit you will learn about this industry and about this hobby, just being able to stand around and listen to people talk.
Oh, I'm a creep, dude. I fucking like listen in on everything that goes on around me at Expo.
Yes. Come here. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. It's being professional is just you can tell. It's setting yourself apart. There's I love David Goggins. He's a great big inspiration to me. Something he said was like, you want to be uncommon amongst uncommon men. Meaning if you're standing in a line with 9 other people and all 10 of you are Navy SEALs, who is the best Navy SEAL? You know? Who is uncommon amongst uncommon men? And I think the people that strive for that will undoubtedly become at least one day be the most proficient level of professional they can be. Definitely.
And you know what? I think the word even professional, it gives people anxiety, especially in this hobby. Because you see people like Ozzy, like Justin, like Miguel, like Billy, right? And you go, well, shit, if I can't do it at that level, I can't do this.
It's not always true, man. You know what I'm saying? That's
not only that, those people didn't get there overnight.
But the thing is, people just look at it and go, well, I can't do that. And it seems scary. And what they need to realize is I know people with much smaller collections, much more condensed, that still make a good amount of money breeding their snakes every year. They don't do anything different. Like,
I think out of those people you named off, I think Billy has the biggest collection out of all 4 of those people.
No, Justin, I think trumps them snake-wise.
Really?
I think.
Because Justin only runs about 250 breeder females. 250 to 300.
What? I thought he was way higher than that. Oh, yeah, because I think Billy has up to 440 on the go at any given time.
Right. Yeah. And so don't get me wrong, it's a lot of animals, right? But there is a very wide difference in the range of sizes of all 4 of those collections.
Yeah. And then there's, the quote unquote genetic, I don't know, we call it the upgrade, right? The genetic upgrade where you sell your breeders and you hold back. Yeah. So I was doing some math. Okay. So I was like, okay, I had more than 70 clutches this year, but I was like, if I had 70, all right, and I looked at the clutch that was my most expensive clutch this year, and it's a $28,000 clutch, and I was like, what if all 70 of my clutches were $28,000 clutches? So I do the math, and it's $4.1 million a year. Or my bad, I did it backwards. 1.4 mil in that year income. Yep. And realistically, that's like, dude, you're breaking 7 figures. If you're self-sufficient, breeding your own feeders and stuff, you're probably not putting back even $400,000 into your collection if you have everything already, i.e. building racks and such. So then what do? You focus your income towards things like merch, right? Justin got the posters. Liz, I saw that mutation creation pop socket on your phone as soon as you held it up, right? That's like, I saw it like 5 times. That's free marketing, right? Free marketing. Hold on, let me spin that.
I don't use one of those things. I'm not cool like you guys.
I used to think
if I didn't, this phone would be in worse shape than it already is, and it ain't looking too hot.
Yeah, I used to think they were really dumb until I figured out how convenient they actually were. But for people who want to be at that level, right? David Goggins, same guy I just told you about, he broke the record for most pull-ups in a 24-hour period of time. He did it on his second try. He failed the first try. And he says, people look at David Goggins, they see a guy who was a Navy SEAL, they see this motivational speaker, they see this record holder for for pull-ups, right? And the most pull-ups he did in like a 24 hours, like 6,000 something.
Jesus.
But he says, this is what he said. He's like, no one saw the whole year I did 77,841 pull-ups to break that over 6,000 record. No one saw that. He's like, people who want to, so if you want to be professional, you'll find a way, not an excuse. Just saying. Just had to lay that fucking down real quick.
It's the truth though. Like, I feel like when you get to a certain point, if a certain animal or something comes across your way, like especially, it's always when you're like, okay, I can't buy anything for a while. Every time you're like, gotta calm down.
Yep.
And then somebody comes to you and like, hey man, I just made this. I need some cash. And you're like, oh, I don't think so. And they're like, here it is. And you're like, how is that exactly what I need right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
How can I scrape together money to buy that right now?
Yes.
Every time you're just like, it's literally perfect. It's everything. Like, I didn't have $4,000 this morning, but I guess I'll find it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
And it's amazing how, just like you said, I'll find it. It is amazing how quickly and how resourceful you can be when you need that money right now. I mean, just like the car thing is a perfect example. I mean, you get, Nick gave up buying a new car to get that animal that he needed. And you know what? The chances are, though, right, you're going to grow up that leopard special double het monsoon pied, and you could be like, go out and cash out a fucking 2024, because
she's ready next year.
Oh, well, there you go. 2022 then, whatever the case may be. But I think the people that can see long distance do way better because no matter how much you think, you could come into this hobby with 150 grand and be like, I'm going to invest all of it, or 200,000 or 500, whatever the number is. I'm going to invest all of it. I'm going to get ahead of all these people. Right. But you never hit the top because someone is holding back the best sub. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're buying byproduct.
It doesn't matter how much money you wave in their face. They're going to keep the best are going to keep those animals because they know in the long run it's going to be worth it. They're going to get so much more out of keeping those animals. And the people that see that are the ones that last because they're willing to be patient and to take the time, and they don't end up screwing themselves over in the long run either. I always tell people, if I would have known what I know now 5 years ago, I would have 10 single gene breeder size pied females and 10 single gene breeder size clown females, because when I produced them 5 years ago, I was like,
that's Rem. She's indeed.
Oh, okay. Hell yeah.
I was like, I don't want single gene pied girls. I want firefly pieds and yellow belly orange tree pieds. I don't want single gene pied girls. I don't want single gene clowns. I want red striped spot nose clowns, right? So you sell those single gene females because you're like, oh, they're just visuals. I'm like, I preach this to people. How fucking stupid. If I had an arsenal of 10 visual pieds and 10 visual clowns, the shit that I could do with them is outstanding. And I never would have seen that 3 years from now because I didn't have the males. I didn't have the projects. I didn't want to make double heads. I didn't have stuff to plug into it. But guys, hold on to that stuff because it is worth way more than the $300 that you're going to sell it for.
Oh yeah.
It's just not.
It's actually, it's a funny problem that I've seen some people run into. Like, you always think that when you're upgrading, you're making everything better for yourself, right? I'm going to move this pied female for this ODYB pied female that I have to move into her bin.
Yep.
So, but you get to a point where that ODYB pied female actually doesn't work for a project you have because everything else has yellow belly in it. And if you hit ivories, it's not going to, you know what I mean? So my best clutch this year came from a single gene pied female. Leopard Desert Ghost het pied to pied.
Yeah, she's gorgeous. That is awesome. Leopard. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
So we hit 6 and 6, 6 pied, 6 not. 4 to the 6 not pieds or leopard. I hit, I think, 4.2 on the visuals, which is perfect because I wanted to hold 2 back and sell everything else. And people are killing for males right now.
Yep.
Redhead Desert Ghosts. And they're not going cheap. So I get not only to hold back my, what do you think a pied head DG female would be worth right now?
Oh shit.
Three?
If I had a piebald het desert ghost, I'd probably sell it for
3 to 4.
between
3.5
to 35 is what I would sell.
Yeah.
So I get to hold back my say $6,000 in animals, and 6,000 American to me is a lot of money.
Dude.
And then I can still turn around and flip those other, well, not flip, but sell those other 4 males for anywhere from 2 to 25.
Yep.
And then I still have the 6 non-visuals to move, and there's still visual double hets.
Right.
Right. Double het females still going from anywhere between $1,000 to $1,200 a leopard double het.
Sold my double het females for $1,000. Double het BG pie girls for $1,000.
Yeah, and I got more leopards than not.
Yeah.
So like
no one
it just
is like, ew, leopard.
Yeah, I know, right?
And that's the other thing,
Yeah.
And it's just really crazy because I realistically only did that pairing because I wanted to get that male to a couple females. It was the first year we had them, and I just wanted some het DG, basically just some het DG stuff growing up. I was like, if I can hit some het DG, pos het pied stuff, and maybe pick out a ringer here or there, I'm laughing. He ended up giving me eggs to an ivory, that pied that gave me 12 eggs, which is the clutch I just told you about. And then I actually just 2 nights ago got a clutch from a spider pied het hypo.
Nice.
Ooh.
So I've gotten 2 leopard yellow belly double hets from the ivory, even though they should only be 50% hets. Yeah. They both have fucking crazy ringers. And then 2 more visual females. And I still have a clutch we haven't even cut yet. So I've gotten everything I need out of the project.
Yep.
Now it's all profit from there, man.
For this year. And now we can actually make money on it. And
that's crazy.
It's really weird because the entire year I was like, oh, females. And then we only had a couple females. And I was like, you know what? This is actually great because now I don't want to keep them and I can actually make some money back.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have like 3 girls sitting in my racks right now that I'm just
I was like, I need the motivation to sell these animals. So this worked out really well.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's been a really cool year. But yeah, sorry, going back to what you originally said, a single gene pied. Yeah. Like I'll probably make 25 grand off that clutch, and it wasn't even meant to do anything. Like it was just I was like, oh man, I hope we get a couple pieds. Like
Yeah, and that's, you know what? It's funny you said that. It made me remember something. I had a phone call recently from somebody all 3 of us know. I'm not going to name his name, but he was like, "Hey man, I know you have a couple breeder clown females. Can you sell me one?" And so I was like, "All right, listen, I cannot in good conscience do that, and here's why." Because every year I can make over 10 grand breeding one single gene clown female. However, if I wanted to sell that realistically, I don't know, maybe $3,000 for a single gene proven breeder female is really what it is. Even if it is a clown, and maybe if she's a huge girl, like 13 egg layer, maybe 4,000, right? But I was like, dude, realistically, to sell her to you for less than $5 grand when I can make more than double that offer every year doesn't add up.
Yeah. Like eventually it just comes down to space. Like eventually it comes down to, this is my sweet spot. I want to say between this many clutches and this many clutches. I have, 20 multi-gene clown girls and 10 single gene clown girls. I got 15 more growing up.
Yeah,
I just need the space. Like that's eventually what it comes down to. Not, I don't need this animal. It's I need the space. And
but people also have to take into account what they're getting from each animal. I've seen people turn around and drop massive, like double super females that lay like 10 to 12 eggs for a first year, like grow up from that same mom that's just like het for something. And you're just like, oh my God. Like, if you have females that lay big clutches, fucking hold on to them.
Yeah, don't ever sell them.
Oh my God.
Sell when you retire. Yes. That's it. That's the only time.
I have a Mohawk spider that way. She's like one of the only spiders in my collection. Mm-hmm. First, She's laid 6 years consistently for me now. She was my first ever egg layer, and then like she's still laying for me. 10 eggs, 12 eggs, 15 eggs, 19 eggs. All made it, all good eggs. She's never thrown me a slug.
So crazy.
9 last year. I was gonna give her the year off this year because I was like, dude, you've been doing your job. I didn't pair her. She started slamming food. I ultrasounded her. She had not been paired since she last laid, and she was at 23.8 millimeter follicles. And I was like, all right, you're going through the motions anyway.
It's happening, yeah.
I threw a male in there. She had 1 lock, and she gave me 11 eggs this year. All good eggs. I'm like,
that's amazing.
I don't know what to do, dude, you know, but she's just a great eater. She's a great mom. She throws pretty babies. I kind of kept her mainly to be like a bell producer because she's a Mohawk spider. So I thrown some other stuff in there, but we do still do a lot of, you know, we're right on that edge where we still have some pet market customers, but we also have that high end. So I have to try to appease both sides of that coin because I'm not quite high end enough where like all my stuff is high end, but I'm definitely not just in the pet market. So
see, I think that's another misconception in the hobby too. I don't think anybody ever gets completely away from the pet stuff. Like even guys like Ozzy and Justin, they just stop dealing with it and wholesale it off. Very quickly.
Exactly.
You never see it, right?
Yep.
Same with Billy. You just don't see it because it's not flashy enough to make it onto a video.
Right.
Honestly, I think everybody plays around in the sort of pet level.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah, it's almost like a consistent, because this is a volatile market, right? This is not a consistent paycheck, but that is pretty damn close to a consistent paycheck is being like, you know, like I've toured Mike's Wilbank's facility. He does a lot of bells, single gene pied, single gene super fires, and that's his audience, right? He doesn't have a lot of high end stuff, but you know, you're right. You have to appease both, but you'll never get out of the pet market.
Well, not only that, you always have pet people coming to you looking for an animal. You know what I mean? Even if they've only seen your high end stuff, they go, "Hey, man, I really like what you do. I want something from you. It doesn't have to be this, and this." Like,
and they're just.
And it sucks to sometimes just be like, "Hey, man, I got nothing. Sorry."
Yeah, I really enjoy having those entry level animals because I hate discouraging people to get into the hobby that don't want to drop $900 to $5,000 on an animal. You know, especially when like. Okay, we say double het DG pie to them.
They're like, what the fuck is that?
They're like, why am I spending $1,000 on something that looks like a leopard that I could buy for $200? You know, it's. I mean, that's one thing that I love and hate about shows. Like, we just went to Sewer Fest this last weekend, and I had a KRG Phantom Yellow Belly pied on my table. Right, really nice looking animal. Lady comes up to my table and says, "Oh my gosh, I have a snake at home that looks just like this." I was like, that's interesting because as far as I know, I'm the only one that has that animal, you know. But no, I'm just like, oh, really? And she's like, yeah, she's just like a normal I got from Petco. But I'm starting to think she's not a normal because she looks just like this, you know?
And then you asked her for what drugs she was smoking. The rest of it was
and then she looked at the price. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe you're charging this much. What's so special about this snake? It's just brown, blah, blah, blah. You know, and I'm like, well, it's got these genetics in it. So and I always go like, so if you're breeding, you know, these are the XYZ. And they're like, well, that's just insane. I bought mine for $300 at a Petco. And I'm like, well, you got fucking screwed if you paid $300
for fucking normal. That's crazy.
You got a good deal.
Good job. You got it good. Yeah. But we get that a lot. And, you know, it's just one of those things in the hobby that you just try to smile and do your best to educate when people are willing to be educated. But, you got to love, there's the pros and cons to the pet market side, but there's pros and cons to the high end side of this too.
Yeah.
It's just.
It really is.
Yeah.
So speaking of pros and cons, Chris, you and I were supposed to do a live. I think we did a live like a year and a half ago. And the whole time we just sat there, got drunk and bullshit. And we were supposed to actually have a rundown of parthenogenesis. So can you talk?
That was definitely way less than that. I've only been doing my YouTube show since January.
Well, I've only been on Instagram like a year.
He was drunk. He doesn't know, Chris.
I was so drunk.
Here's the thing. I don't drink.
I was going to say, Brandon, you're not supposed to be drinking.
Yeah, I don't drink yet. I did.
Well, I wasn't aware of that. I feel like a horrible person.
No, it's not because I had like an addiction problem or anything. It's just because I don't drink. I was going through jump master school, and that's like the second hardest school in the Army. Like, it's a really hard school. So I quit drinking to get through the school. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And after, I failed the first time. I had to go back a second time. That's actually normal. If you meet someone who says they passed jump master school in the first time, they're either a unicorn or they're a liar. Straight up. I can count on one hand how many people I've met that ever pass it their first time. I passed it my second time. That's considered pretty good. So it's that. I mean, you're playing with someone's life. That's why it's so hard. But anyhow, so I had to go twice. So I went a pretty long time without drinking. And then when I was done, I was just like, wow, I just don't feel like it.
That's a good reason not to, I guess.
Yeah, there's no real reason. Like, I just don't drink, man, and I never ever want to, but we totally did.
All right.
But Partho
Genesis.
Partho, give us Chris, give us a Partho rundown, bro.
What's really funny about that is it wasn't even my idea. When I advertised you were coming on, I don't know if it was Kathleen or somebody else, but somebody was like, you have to get Brandon talking about this. And I was like, why? And they're like, I just want to hear him talk about it. And I was like, okay, man, I'm down. Like, sure. And you and I talked about it ahead of time, and you were like, fuck yeah, I'm down. That's an awesome subject. And then we just never got to it.
We literally talked about, we spent an hour bullshitting, and then you're like, dude, all right, we got to get to set questions. We like ran through set questions. And then you were
feel a theme of the hour.
I was trashed.
Yeah, you were way drunk.
I was way too
You
drunk.
were trying so hard to hold it together. It was great. I love it.
Oh my God. Those are my favorite shows though, because by the end, like, I'm just like, do I make it to the end of this or do I just hit the button and go?
You're like, my wife's going to be so fucking pissed, but I don't care.
Yep. No. See, okay, it was Kathleen.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
She got a Partho baby from a friend of ours, and that's where that whole thing came from.
There we go. It was my idea. I had a Partho. So yeah, you want to just
that's creepy.
You want to just give the people a rundown of like what is Partho, what here's
the thing. Here's the thing. I'm not the science guy, and I've been very clear with you on that.
I'm the science guy.
When you're talking about it, I understand every word you're saying, but if you ask me to run that back, no chance. But basically, my very, very, very basic understanding of parthenogenesis is last September. Was it on Instagram?
It was on Instagram, I think. Oh, yeah, because I wasn't here yet. I was in the smaller place.
Oh, that's right.
I had the banner behind me.
The YouTube one was... That's right. You're right. I forgot it was the Instagram one that we did. Wow. So we not only missed it during that live, but then the next live that we did, we didn't even remember that we were supposed to talk about it. Because you did a live on my YouTube show.
I did. Fuck.
That's really funny. We keep jumping around though, but basically my understanding is I'm not doing this now.
Okay.
I'm not doing this now.
So Partho,
he's like fucking done.
Everybody, Partho.
All right,
Chris, who do you have
with you? We need to get some beers in you, and then we could talk about.
That's really what it
30
is.
minutes.
Oh man!
I mean, my whiskey's right there. No, there's nobody here. I'm all alone right now, so like I have to physically go get up to get that. But
can if you want.
Well, give me a second then. Go.
You insist. If you
never say no to drink,
you handsome son of a bitch.
Ooh, look at that.
I know, right? Shit.
I had to bring my fancy decanter over.
That's what I was saying. You got your sweet little decanter there. Yeah, nice. I gotta be like MJ and just start like smoking dabs.
I'm gonna start. I actually just texted Kyle. I'm like, "Are you home yet?" Because
yeah. Right. Fuck yeah. No,
I don't drink either, but
yeah, right. So Parthenogenesis is
unless it's at an NARBC show, I drink like 4 times a year.
Yeah, I almost never drink.
I know you don't.
I'm trying to remember how. It's been a while since I talked about Partho. I know there's the X and the Y chromosome. The female only carries the Y, so she like double dips down on the Y to fertilize an embryo, and then it comes out. But it comes out all fucked up because alleles are on a ladder, and it needs opposing alleles for balance. But it's just copying the sister allele. That's why it comes out all fucked up.
So have you seen the theory that visual super representations from single gene partho animals are only visually super and not genetically super?
So I actually read the blood work. I read a paper on that by.
You read the blood work. I was going to be very impressed.
No,
I can read blood work. I'm sure
I was about to say
blood work too.
Yeah, I was about to say I actually did read the blood work. It was at the bottom of the page.
Oh well, damn! Color me impressed then.
That's how I learned about actually follicular development too. I actually had to read a chart on a doctor's ultrasound results on a female's follicular development. It was on a African rock python though. But anyhow. Yeah, so with Partho, what the fuck were we just talking about? That's how much pot.
The visual super is coming from a single gene
animal
representing as super is only visually.
So technically, you don't have the same. Okay, you have the same allele, but you need 2 of it. You have one, and one that's going to be incomplete. Because alleles are made up of protein gametes, right? So it's going to be missing gametes, and that's why animals come out all fucked up.
What is that called, Brent? Is it a false allele or something like that?
Yeah, it's something. It's like I think it's called a blank allele.
Blank allele. That's what it is. Thank you.
Yeah. So fucking you get a blank allele because here's a fun fact, guys. Every time you get an X-ray, you become parthenogenic. So when you get an X-ray, that flash of radiation actually totally obliterates half of your DNA. But the sister alleles can carry and copy over, and they do so fast that it doesn't like molecularly destroy your body, the radiation poisoning. But you can copy the sister allele when the DNA is mixed because you have the X and the Y chromosome, right? If you just have 2 Ys, it doesn't. It's doing this instead of this. I don't know how else to fucking explain it. You know what I'm saying?
Doing what, Brandon?
Chris, I totally
this
distracted you with this is gold.
Are you talking about the dab? I would love to take a quick dab.
No.
Oh, she's gonna show it.
Oh man, dude.
I'll fix my lighting. Leave me alone. God.
You just gotta make it. You just gotta turn it more yellow. That's what I did with mine.
I'm just gonna turn it up. I'm gonna turn it up so it's like on purpose shining, so it's obnoxious.
Oh, I could do that right now. I would look like Casper the Friendly Ghost.
No, but just that.
Oh, just the skull. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Sparta.
Corey's comment's the best comment.
It is the best comment. Are you sure, Corey? Give me like 5 minutes.
I'm trying, Corey. I don't know where we're at.
I could totally go in the rat room and smoke up real quick and come right back.
That's also within my eye line. So like my bar is my bar for everything.
Oh, that's so good. I'm putting a weed bar in the new house.
Yeah, no, my booze bar is my weed bar also. It's fantastic.
I love it. I have to admit, I love Brandon's high voice messages because it's always like, a bunch of silence, and then it's like, dude.
Oh shit!
Silence, like, you'll never guess what I just thought. And then like a bunch of silence.
You do a very, very good impression of Brandon.
That's so fucking that's really accurate.
I'm now very, very upset I never received one of these.
Fast. Like once he actually starts in on what he's thinking, it's like like so quick.
I'm so disappointed I've never had one of these before.
And then there's a lot of, I know you get what I'm saying. And I'm like, no, Brandon, no one gets what I'm saying.
Yeah, right. I know you know what the fuck I mean.
Yeah,
Brandon, you can't green up a wall to outer space when you touch the ocean.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. You can't see music and hear space. It doesn't work like that.
We're gonna answer your question, Dylan, but I love this comment. What's the biggest mistake?
My biggest mistake was when I was in it before, and that was listening to basically anybody. When I was in this hobby before, it was a fucking wasteland of just vitriol and just people trying to watch other people fail. Yep. And I took a lot of very bad advice that fucked me up over and over and over again, to the point where I got out of the hobby. I just got tired of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my biggest mistake was taking bad advice. But also my biggest mistake was getting out when I did, because the big change seemingly happened. Well, and it's been a slow thing. It's very recent that it's become this crazy nice and supportive and welcoming. But like the real change started happening essentially right when I got out, and it started sort of shifting. So yeah, I'd say both of those are my biggest mistake. Like had I stayed in, I'd probably be a lot further ahead than I am right now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, had I stayed in, I might have continued to make mistakes. I might have, you know what I mean? Who knows? I could have been some shitty fucking Craigslist breeder. Like, who knows, right? So,
yeah,
it's really tough. I lost my first ever clutch because I listened to some asshat. Because he didn't want me to undercut him selling bumblebees.
Oh, all right then.
Yeah.
Bumblebees. Yep.
Bumblebees.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. They're like $400 to $500 a piece then. So like, I mean, it wasn't even that crazy. It's not like they were like $3,000 to $5,000.
Like, when you first dropped. Yeah.
Like you could buy an adult spider back then, female, for like $800. Pastel male for like $400 to $500, and you know what I mean. Like if you hit a male bumblebee, you could get like $500-$600. If you got a female, maybe like $600-$800. Like it's not like they were.
But yeah, you sold 2 snakes, you make your investment back.
Essentially, yeah. But this guy,
you're not dipping in hard. I got you.
It was literally my only thing that I could make that year too. And this guy's like, well, I'm not gonna give him any good advice. So he was like, oh, put him in vermiculite. But don't. He's like, just add like a. I can't remember what it was. It was like a tablespoon, or it was a little more than that. Maybe like a quarter cup. He's like, add a quarter cup of water to it, and that's it.
Oh, that's fucking shitty.
That sounds right.
Dickhead.
That sounds right. So the eggs obviously started drying out very quickly, and they didn't make it.
Yeah.
But it's there's a lot of that bullshit, unfortunately, with my first time in the hobby.
Damn, that's fucked.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, right when we got in is kind of when that change started to happen. So about 7 years ago is when the change started. The first couple of years we were in, though, it was either like, if you could get in with like a good breeder on their good side, they were willing to help you. But there is not all this information out there.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Facebook is bad now.
It used to be so bad.
It used to be so bad. There was no one coming in saying don't be an asshole. Like everyone was just an asshole.
It was like,
there was
hey,
no
fuck you, go
in
kill
between.
yourself.
Yeah,
Like,
it was
where do you go to school?
everyone was
shoot it up.
a dick. Like that's just the way that it was.
Back in the day of fucking King Snake.
Kingsnake.com. Yeah, I remember that shit.
Yeah, I remember Morph Market came in like a year or two after we started, and I didn't even know about king snake to begin. Like, that's how not willing people were to share information. Like, they weren't even willing to share where they were selling their animals. Like, it was, it was bad. And so Morph Market came in. I remember hearing about Morph Market, one of those little side conversations I told you about earlier that I hear going on at shows. And we happened to get on it, and I just looked. I'm like a founding member of Morph Market. Like, I didn't even know it was a new thing when we got into it, So, which definitely changed the hobby for the better. But yeah, it was hardcore, and I was kind of used to that because I'd been in the dog industry, I'd been in the horse industry, it's cutthroat. It just is. Like, you either you get in with your little group of people, and that's where you stay, and everyone else just is like, fuck you, I'm not doing anything to help you. Unless you're in rodeo. The rodeo world's a little bit different, but everywhere else it's that way. And so when we started, I just kind of assumed that the industry was going to be that way, to be completely honest, because I'd been in other animal fields where that's the way it was. So I didn't reach out for help, and I tried to do my own research, and I tried to watch what I could and figure things out on my own. And I would say that's probably my biggest mistake at that point, was not trying to reach out to anyone, because I just kind of assumed that this industry wouldn't be a whole lot different than the ones I had been in before. And then we attended our first USARK auction at Tinley NARBC, and that's when I kind of realized that there was an actual industry behind this, and started to reach out to more people and made some really good friends and some really good connections. And it's been great since then. But I'd say the first 2.5 years we were in this, I was like, I'm going to figure it out on my own. Like, I'll do my own research, and I'm not going to ask questions. And I'm definitely glad that the industry is more inviting now than it has ever been, even though there is still some people who don't follow that rule as much as they should.
Yeah.
If you guys think, the new people coming in, if they think this is jealousy and competitive and
this is pretty nice,
they would have been fucking crushed.
Yeah, this is really the industry.
Like, this is the best that this industry has ever been. These podcasts didn't exist. These video podcasts didn't exist. The information was not there unless you were digging up scientific research or going to the library. Like, this shit did not exist anywhere that you could.
If you found one like basement YouTube video that involved a ball python, you'd be like,
yes,
like,
yes,
I keep those.
Yes.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy back then. But what's really funny about what you're saying too is only a few years prior to when you're talking about, that was the norm. You were expected to go dig through all the fucking garbage information on forums and everywhere and figure it out yourself, because if you couldn't figure it out yourself, you didn't deserve to do it.
Yeah.
That's how the hobby looked at you. And it was insane. Like, that's crazy.
And I kind of understand it to a point, because it was almost that generational shift where the guys who had gotten into this 20 years ago, they're now in their 60s and 70s because they were like in their 40s when they started. That's all they had. They were the original ball python keepers and breeders. I mean, they had to figure it all out, the pros, the cons, what worked, what didn't. And not saying that it's a good outlook to be like, if I had to do it, then you should have to do it, because in my mindset, you go through those struggles and challenges so that you can teach other people so they don't have to go through those struggles and challenges. Yeah. But there were a lot of people that just assumed I had to do it, right? That mentality of, well, I had to do this to get this, so why don't you have to do this to get this?
Yeah, that's true. Fuck that. I don't make mistakes. I'm perfect.
Sorry that my cat's ridiculous.
I love it.
No, it's fine. I love it.
Horny Rem.
She has a good question above that, but it's basically all for you, Liz.
I would say it's male dominated.
Have you noticed any shift lately at all?
I don't think
it's 100% male dominated. Like, I will say that hands down, it's 100% male dominated. I've never personally had any issues from the men in the industry. Like, I've always been very well respected. People have always been very open. They've always talked to me. Every once in a while, we would be at a smaller show, and even sometimes at Tinley. And Kyle's always with me, helping me man the booth and the tables and stuff, you know, and he'll be the first to tell you, like, this is not his thing. Like, he does a lot of the grunt work. He helps me with the labor, that kind of stuff. But as far as IDing and pairing and genetics and even the financial purchases on what we should and should not buy, like, that is all me. You know, I'm to the point now where I don't have to do the let me ask my husband. I pretty much go to him and I'm like, I'm buying this. And he's like, okay, if you think that's a good idea, then here you go.
Yep.
But there will be times where, like, people will come up to the table and he'll be visiting with another customer and usually answering like some basic question type stuff, you know. And someone will come up and be like, waiting at the table. I'll be like, oh, hey, you know, you have any questions or can I help you with anything? And they'll be like, oh, no, you know, we're just going to wait for him. And I'm like, oh, no, I can answer any questions you have, you know. And they're like, no, it's fine. And they'll wait there for 15, 20 minutes. And then I'll be like, okay. And they'll wait there for 15, 20 minutes. Ask him the question. He'll be like, Liz, this dude's got a question. And I don't know, you know. It's about, like, he'll show him a picture to ID something, or he'll ask him to sex a snake for him, or whatever the case may be, right? So I get that. I kind of find it funny. Like, you just wasted 20 minutes of your time because you assumed I didn't know the answer to your question. And the look on their face is kind of enough gratification for me because half the time they'll be like, oh, shit. Like, they'll get that oh, fuck look on their face.
And then you can just walk up with a big smile on yours.
Yeah, and I'm just like, what was your question? You know?
Yeah.
But I'm also that person that, like, I fucking hate it when people don't use their turn signals. Like, I know that's just a pet peeve. I'm a bitch. But it's like, flick your finger. Like, you literally.
Oh, no, I want their cars to burn.
Yeah, you know? And I'll pull up next to people that, like, didn't use their turn signal and roll down my window and, like, wave at them. And they'll roll down their window. I'll be like, I just want you to know that your driver's side turn signal's out. You know, just in case you didn't know, I wanted to make sure. So
Dude, that's good. I like that.
I'm the nicest bitch you'll ever meet, right? You know, like, I can pass it off as being really nice, but I'm being a bitch. But
that's like when I want to give somebody the finger in traffic, I instead give them a thumbs up and a smile.
Yeah, like,
it pisses them off so much more.
Yes.
They get so much more angry. It's so good.
I get more hate from, and this could sound horrible, ladies, and I'm sorry, I loved this industry when it was men dominated, when there wasn't so many women, because I get more hate from the women coming into the industry than I have ever gotten from the men, ever, you know, and I hate to say it that way because it's not all women, and I fully understand that, and I love all you ladies here tonight, and it's great, but we're bitches, ladies. We are horrible to each other for no fucking reason. You know, it just blows my mind, and so many people assume I'm new at this, and I've been here for 7 years. There are probably, I mean, maybe a handful or two of women that have been in this longer than me, really. I mean, when I came in, there were no women at all. You know, you obviously have like Lori Barczyk and Kim Bell and like all the, you know, Desiree from Cold Blooded and Alyssa from Full Throttle.
Lori Barker, Tracy Barker.
Lori Barker. There are several amazing women that have been in this from the beginning. But you know, I'm kind of one of the originals, and I've only been around for 7 years, which is sad, in my opinion, you know. But there has definitely been a huge uprising in women in the industry, which I think is great. But ladies, let's just be nice to each other. There is.
I find it kind of crazy that the women in this hobby's biggest enemy is themselves right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's so and the best part is, each side is playing it off like it's because of the dudes, but they're just fighting against each other. Like, it's so weird.
And I've heard some women that have had poor experiences with certain vendors, but you know what? I've had bad experiences with certain vendors, and I don't necessarily think it's because I'm a woman. I think it's because there are certain vendors who think they know who everyone is, and you know, they know who and who isn't going to buy their snakes because of who they are, or they've seen them around or whatever, right? We all have those vendors who play the, I don't know, the popularity card almost.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
murder this cat.
They're in the good old boys club. Is
Yes,
what you're
you
saying.
know, and
yeah.
I don't think it has anything to do with whether you're a woman or not. I think it just depends on how long you've been around and who do you know, and do they know you? Do they recognize your face? You know,
I agree with that
That's huge though. That's a genuine thing, and it's huge.
That's tremendous.
There's people that think that you don't know anything if they don't know who you are.
Yep, 100%.
It's so ridiculous.
Funny. That's fucking funny.
It's amazing.
That's fun. Yeah, I mean, I don't. To be honest, this is how I've always been with everything. Right? I do not care if you're a man or a woman. I care that you are producing results. Right? If you're a serious breeder, I'm going to take you seriously. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. If you're, we got Corey Martin in the chat, right? Yeah. Corey works multiple species, but she's doing something with each species to push it forward. Yeah. That's a good breeder. I'm not saying she's a good female breeder. She is a good professional reptile breeder who is taken seriously, and that's why she's respected, right? Yep. And I'll tell you what, I'll put a motherfucking dude down just as quick as I'll put a woman down. Like, if you are fucking up, if you are doing something bad, if you are fucking up the animal, if you need help, like, I don't care what's between your legs or how you identify, right? If you are producing good results with your species, then I will, I'm going to give you that respect as a breeder. Why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Who cares if it just makes sense. Anybody that can help our hobby look better.
Oh,
whether
100%.
It's the species you work with or not.
Yeah.
Whether it's if they are going to improve even to one other person, they're going to improve the standing of our hobby. Why would you hate on them? Why would you give them shit? Just let that. If you don't like what they're doing, ignore it.
Move on.
Yes, exactly.
Corey. Corey's amazing.
I guess Corey's okay.
All right, Chris. Well, we'll see you later.
What's funny is I probably talk to Corey more than I talk to most of my friends. Like, Corey's easily one of my best friends in the hobby. That's why that was so funny. Yeah. I hit that animal that I was telling you guys about, and out of I think 4 people I messaged before I came home to try and nap, which didn't happen, one of them was her. So I probably talked to Corey more than I talked to Nick.
Oh shit!
There you go.
I love me some Corey Martin.
No, Corey's good shit. She's good people. Yeah, makes beautiful animals too.
For sure.
So okay, yeah, we'll get on set questions. So how is? Unless you got something else, Liz.
No, I'm good. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Canada, you guys went through a lot of lockdowns and open up and lockdowns and open up. So how did that affect your business up there? Because down here, COVID was the greatest thing to happen to Oodles and Noodles. Like, I made more money than I have ever made. So how did
I think COVID in general was very kind to I'm trying to find the best way to put this.
The industry as a whole, maybe?
Not really, because I know a lot of people that actually didn't do well.
Oh,
but
shit.
To common reptile keepers.
Oh, here we go. Okay, yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But people that breed stuff like corn snakes, tarantulas.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff that is on the forefront of the industry. Because I think all these people that were like, oh, I really want to have this, but I never really have time. I'm always at work. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, those people are like, shit, I'm going to be home for the next 7 months.
Yeah.
Right? Or whatever it is.
Well, and I think your point there, Chris, is the common pet.
Yes.
I like the common reptiles too, right? And I don't
absolutely not just ball pythons. Yeah, any leopard geckos.
The not
quality pet style.
Right. No, the not specialty animals where the intro beginning.
Yeah, made for beginner keepers.
But because of that influx on the low level, this is kind of what I was getting at. It gave a lot of people a little more cash than they usually have, at least for snakes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So guys like me, all of a sudden my stuff that would have wholesaled for $50 a piece, it's selling for $300-400 because I don't have enough animals to list. So I'm listing the stuff that I don't think will sell, and it's still selling. All of a sudden, we have an extra $2,000 in our pocket. What are we going to do with that? I'm going to go to somebody above me. I'm going to invest that money. I'm going to buy a snake that I can use.
Yep.
All of a sudden, that guy has 5 guys come to him and buy $2,000 snakes with their extra snake money. He's now got 10 grand to invest in a new project. And I think it was an opposite snowball.
Yep. Right. Yeah.
All the shit just rolled uphill, and it worked out. Like, it worked out for everybody. It was great.
Crazy.
But it's the truth.
That is the
truth. I invested more last year than I was expecting because I was, like you said, a lot of my wholesale style, and not only that, I was still wholesaling.
I didn't think about it.
I was still wholesaling several animals, but my wholesalers went from a budget of $150 a snake to $500 a snake because they couldn't get a hold of them and couldn't keep them in stock, and there's
all of a sudden people asking for certain stuff. I'm like, it was crazy across the board. Low end demand went way up, and it helped everyone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was nuts.
I agree.
I've thought about this a lot because I've asked this question to a couple of people at the beginning of my stream, like when we first started it. But then I've also been asked it a lot because of being on Billy's podcast, because that started not long after COVID began, right?
Yeah, I channel my content.
So people would constantly super chat and ask, like, oh, well, how's business? So I ended up sitting and thinking on that a long time. And I was like, you know what I had the least amount of issues with last year?
Moving animals.
Moving the stuff that I should have had issues moving.
Yep.
Instead of having 10 animals out of 10 clutches to wholesale, I had 2. Yeah. To the point where the wholesaler was like the guy I go to was like, is this really all you have? Like, I need more snakes. And I'm like, sorry, dude. Don't know what to tell you.
And you know what? That is still continued, or at least in our area. Like, I have wholesalers banging down my door. I just sold probably, I don't know. I don't wholesale a lot, right? So I probably wholesaled 20 animals 2 weeks ago.
I'm like 10 to 12 every 6 months. Not tons.
Yeah, I don't sell a lot.
I probably wholesaled about 20 animals. And the only reason I wholesaled them, some of them, is because I got market value on the animal that I was wholesaling. Like, it's ridiculous right now.
Yeah.
It's like, why wouldn't I at that point, in my opinion, right? So anyway, I wholesaled about 20 animals 2 weeks ago. That guy called, just sold his last one today. Sold 20 ball pythons in 2 weeks. Yeah, but I'm not the only person he wholesales through. He's completely out of snakes. So I think he told me he sold anywhere between 60 and 70 ball pythons in the past 2 weeks, anywhere from $200 to $800 at a pet store.
Wow.
He sells his pieds for $1,000. He can only get a hold of 5 of them.
What the
man?
fuck?
I wish I could sell pieds for $1,000.
Yo,
Canadian
male.
He's like even Canadian.
Pieds. Yeah.
Jeez.
I'm gonna go open like a fake store.
Yeah. It's insane. I mean, the pet market is insane right now.
And like I said, it just happened to help everybody.
Yeah.
And a bunch of those people that decided to get in to keep them as pets will eventually find channels like this one, or find channels like Billy's or mine or whatever. And you know what? Even if 1% of those go on to start breeding, that's even more money back into the hobby for everybody.
Oh, for sure.
So on and so on.
And anytime, you have people buying animals, they're buying the product. I mean, whether it be Exoterra or Zilla or Rax or thermostats or whatever it all flows over into that stuff. And, the more revenue companies have coming in, the more they can branch out on making new products or innovating old products or whatever, so I think
we're seriously giving we're giving an economy lesson right now.
We are. We're giving, and then let's go even deeper. It's like PVC racks go through the roof. Well, then they're supplying plastic companies that you wouldn't think even
building materials.
Yeah, building materials, metal, anything that you have. It's ridiculous. you're wondering why there's such a shortage of stuff. I think there is probably truly a minimal shortage of product during COVID. But what you don't see is the influx of how much more the demand is. It's not that we couldn't get as much product as we had been getting in the past. It's that the demand had gone up 3 times and the companies that were supplying couldn't keep up with the demand.
Yeah, because they never expected it, especially after being told that they should expect to not make sales for the next 3 years. Right?
Sure.
Like it's crazy.
I mean, how many breeders have we talked to, Brandon, that said they thought about not breeding
during that year?
In 2020.
So many people that were like, "Oh, I didn't think I'd be able to afford breeding in 2020." Like,
yeah.
I would have kicked myself in the ass if I didn't breed last year.
Yeah. And companies did the same thing. They cut production as soon as they thought they weren't going to get stuff done. Then they got so back ordered that they just couldn't catch up. And then on top of that, or at least in the United States, someone wants to fucking work. So now you don't have anyone to actually make the shit.
Pre-COVID, it was the opposite. No one could find a fucking job.
That's true.
Now,
no one
business owners can't find employees. Don't worry. That fucking that unemployment will run out real soon. God, they should let me be president. I would fuck shit up. All those.
I would actually want to come to the States if you were president.
Yeah, because weed and prostitution would be legal and regulated. Let me tell you.
I mean, that's not why I would want to be there, but okay.
But, well, look, Europe. As soon as Europe did that, their economy shot through the roof because marijuana is obviously a multi-billion-dollar industry. And as soon as they legalized prostitution, what they did was they gave the girls health benefits. So they get STD tested. They have full medical care. They make you like wear a rubber and all that shit. The girls make the rules. And it was something else that was real crazy. I think they get education benefits too. So they can pay for school while they're doing that. But rape is almost non-existent because you can legally go out and buy it. Yeah, so think about that. Just saying.
I'm not arguing with you.
Yeah, motherfucker. I still won't.
Yeah, you're going to make a lot of fans with this one, Brandon.
I know. I still won't be old enough in 2024. 2028 is when I can run.
Yeah, because you have to be an old white man to run. Oh, sorry.
What's the age?
Anymore, but
I think it's 36.
36.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm 30. Yeah, fucking 30.
You don't have enough life
I know, Chris.
experience.
I know.
Brandon, you just went and fought in the war. You don't have any life experience that can help.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I would make the worst commander in chief. I don't understand how anything works. I don't understand how
and you grew up rich your whole life. And,
I had what do they call those trust fund babies? I'm a trust fund baby. I've never had to work. I don't understand economic injustice.
You don't have a doctorate that you didn't actually earn. You were just kind of given to it because your daddy.
Yeah.
I don't think you're perfectly qualified.
Whoa, wait! I had a dad. That's what? That's the craziest part of this whole conversation.
Don't come here, Chris. It's a horrible place.
Man, that's funny.
We're falling apart in shambles. We're just acting like it's okay.
Till after 2028. So here's what's really going to happen. Once I do become president, I'm taking over the Middle East. It's going to be called Hernandistan instead of the Middle East. And Hernandistan will then become giant marijuana fields. And then we'll just, take boats and planes and traffic the weed back and forth. And look, that's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Look how many jobs I just created. I fostered international trade and foreign relations. Brandon Hernandez, 2028.
Can we take all the warning labels off stuff? Like, don't use the blow dryer in the bathtub and stop eating laundry detergent?
Yes.
Can we just let those people...
I support Darwinism. Weed themselves out.
I think that's what the States has needed for a while.
Yeah,
there's a warning label on coffee that says caution might be hot. Did you hear this? There's a warning label on every cup of coffee. Warning, might be hot. And before there was, we spilt it on ourselves and got $1 million bail.
Yep.
Fucking court case.
Oh my god. I mean, I've tried a lot of different things to get high, man, but not even.
I mean, bath salts, right?
I've never even tried bath salts.
But I mean, you get like the morning fresh, and it just tastes so good. Like I can see where the confusion lies. You go to do your laundry, you take a sniff, and it's like you can just pour a little bit of that.
I was almost
little bit of
about
that
to
into the
get
cup.
Like syrup on the pancakes.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Just pour it on top.
And then the guy comes in dressed as the big snuggle bear with all your product, and then he, jumps up and down on the bed with you, and then he leaves, right? We do that? No? No one else? Just me?
Sorry, I was reading a comment and it disturbed me greatly.
Oh, actually. Oh, yo! That's badass! I love that!
I mean, that's kind of terrible, actually.
It is.
That is fucking up.
It is really bad. I do
Sucks
know.
to suck, nerd! I don't know what the fuck to tell you! Darwin is a bitch!
I still feel like that is an issue with how hot they were heating their coffee, though. Not that, like, there needs to be a caution.
Yeah.
Because there's no reason for it to be that hot. Like, I truly believe that that is a problem that McDonald's, like, should have paid for her medical bills. But I don't think that it should have been a whole... Now we have to put a label on everything that might be hot in case someone gets a minor burn.
It's just because it was like what do you call it? It was like a lawsuit. It was a legal thing. So now they
again, I think I totally agree with McDonald's should have paid. There should be an issue with them heating their coffee to that extreme temperatures.
I'm concerned as to why she knows this much about what happened.
Because it's a common topic, I guess, and I don't know.
I'm also curious.
You know what would have solved all that? Universal health care.
Okay, so universal health care. This is how we're doing this. Okay, so not only did I take
no. All right, Chris.
No. Are you sure? I could do world hunger too, man.
We got 15 minutes to like 5 more questions. This is not.
No, dude. Universal health care. Okay.
I don't want to get into it. I only said it because Kathleen did.
Yeah, so for real though, the reptile ban. So how about that? How about the reptile? How about so here's the good one. What's your thoughts on the repercussions of, I don't know if you read or not, but there's a guy a couple weeks ago, like 2.5 weeks ago, that's his fucking king cobra get out in Raleigh, North Carolina, which is really bad because I'm trying to move to North Carolina, so this guy's fucking.
Was that the spitting cobra?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I did hear about that.
This happened a little more than 2 weeks ago, because
I think it was like a month and a half ago.
I
think it was almost 2. I think it was. You're right, like a month and a half, 2 months, because it was right before. Down here we have, Mickey Myers just started what he calls Venom Fest, and the guy, that kid that let his spitting cobra out, actually attended Venom Fest, and they were talking about, like, they had a speaker talking about, like, the importance of locking cages and safe handling and that kind of stuff. And the kid stood up and was like, "I have experience with this because I'm the kid that just had my spitting cobra escape in North Carolina," and everyone
he get his ass beat
silent as fuck. And I'm like, the balls it must have. Like, you're either really fucking stupid or you have some balls to get up and be like, "That was me. I'm the reason you all are getting fucked
probably
right
would
now.
Beat his ass after.
It's me." Like that. Like, kudos to him, because I wouldn't have the guts to do it.
So we'll get to this question in just a sec, but your thoughts on, the actions of that individual, how it affects the industry, and what could have been done different.
Now, it's hard because it'll be always difficult to quantify how a single thing affects the hobby as a whole, right? Like, take, for example, there was a story up here about how a guy had a large, I don't know what it was, maybe reticulated python or a rock python in his home. And he had his kid sleeping in a room, and his kid had a friend sleeping over. They're claiming that this animal got out of his cage, constricted both children individually, Didn't eat either of them. No attempts to eat either of them. And then just hung out in the room afterwards. And that's how these children died. Now, this was reported on the news for a few weeks. And then once it was basically thrown into contention that that's actually what happened, the story lost all media coverage. It wasn't even true. Something else happened. I personally believe it was the father.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But whatever it was, like, it wasn't the snake. All three of us hear that story and go, what? No. Doesn't make sense. Like, snakes don't coil and wrap. Maybe.
Or me.
Hammers?
Okay.
So that's what the story changed to. Originally, it said it fell through the ceiling near the kids, strangled and ate them. And then when people started contesting that, or strangled them, didn't eat them. Then when people started contesting that wouldn't have happened, they're like, oh, well, it came through the ceiling on top of the kids. It's like, so what you're telling me is the police, their forensics team, cannot tell the difference between head trauma and or body trauma and asphyxiation?
Yeah.
That wouldn't even be a hard thing to discern.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, there would be, yeah, that's just crazy. Although, I mean, that takes us back to the whole, like, lots of wrong things with the metaphor.
No. But what I'm getting at is, regardless of whether it was the animal or not, and I genuinely don't believe it was. No, it wouldn't.
Not to my knowledge, no.
No, that would expend way too much energy for the animal, because constricting and eating is actually one of the most labor-intensive things these animals ever do with their entire lives.
And it's one of their most vulnerable
times.
Exactly, yes.
So if they were acting defensively, they're not going to make themselves more vulnerable.
They essentially expose their entire body.
Right.
Yeah. They hit and they run. That's what they do.
Well, and especially if you talk about the whole eating process, I mean, if they've got a prey item halfway down, they're screwed. They can't get
they ain't moving
until they either spit that back up or finish eating. So,
and if you're not familiar, a snake regurgitating is not a very quick process either. So
no, and not to mention it's dangerous for the animal.
The reason I was bringing that up is because the story in the States with the spitting cobra, that was a true story that happened.
Yes.
It sucked, and it painted people it painted the community in a slightly worse light than it was, before the story got out. The difference there was this story might not even be true. And if you ask most people around here if they remember that story and what they remember about it, it's just that big snake killed 2 kids.
Yeah.
Yep.
Doesn't matter that it very likely wasn't true. Nobody ever read past that, but that's what they come off with. That's what they remember.
But the headline was,
yeah.
So what I believe is that we have to be not just careful, but overly cautious and almost like auditing of one another. Because the general public can take almost anything and turn it against any community that isn't
the majority, essentially.
I didn't want to say minority, but
pretty much,
but isn't the majority, or I feel like so many people are just blatantly ignorant about these animals and they don't have any desire to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is what puts us in a really hard spot most of the time. We have a ban one city over on iguanas because some dude was out walking around with his iguana on his shoulders and it jumped down and scratched a kid. And that was the end of it. It wasn't a bite. It just scratched the kid because the kid reached up to pet it and it jumped on the kid's arm and scratched it. And the parents freaked out. And now that city isn't allowed to have iguanas. They're banned. And it's just like a dog could jump up on, a big dog could jump up on a little kid and scratch them. And they would just tell, most parents would tell the kid, you're not supposed to run up on a dog or, whatever. So why is it any different? But it's unfortunate that people don't want to learn. They see them as big, scary animals and they don't want to see them as anything different.
on that's why it makes these fucking stories so detrimental to our hobby, because these people are so opposed to learning.
Yes.
It's just something that they couldn't be bothered to care about. And I mean, you can't be too picky about that. Like, if people don't want to know about it, they don't want to know about it. There's going to be lots of things that people, like the general public, don't want to know or care about.
Yep.
So I personally believe that we just have to be overly cautious in what we post and what we make, like content wise, that people can see, and that kind of how we expose ourselves to the general public. It's and it's growing more and more important that we do that too, because social media isn't going away. It's only getting bigger and broader and stronger, right? So
yep. And I think that's a great point. And I understand big scary pythons on big scary thumbnails get more views. Like, I get it. But you are just ruining your ability or someone else's ability to own those animals at some point, and it's unfortunate. And I think that's why it's great that we have places like Discord or Patreon where we can share, if you want to share feeding videos or something that went wrong, a sickness or anything like that, share it there with like-minded people where it's not going to get out. It's not going to get on the internet. It's if you want to share a bite picture, I get it. They're fun to be like, oh shit, dude, look, like I got fucked up,
right.
I literally did it yesterday. A hognose was taking my finger like it was a rat. It was great.
That's cute.
Like,
it was adorable, but I would never post that on like Instagram.
Right, but post that with people who are going to understand what is happening, not where someone can take that picture and fuel a fire, or it just doesn't make any sense to me. We are just ourselves. But I don't know, and I don't know who it was, and no hate against them, because I understand some people don't think that it's wrong, and that's their opinion. But I don't know if anyone saw the green tree boa taking the rat, where it was a live rat, and the guy's like holding it by the tail, and it grabbed the rat and pulled it, and literally pulled all the meat off the bone. And like the dude was holding the spine and the tail, and the rat was alive when this happened. And he posted it on Instagram with a warning, like a warning picture that said live feeding and stuff. And I'm just like, dude, so many, like, the animal cruelty people are going to jump on that so freaking fast.
I mean, not only that, but that is animal cruelty.
Yes.
Like,
100%.
It's not just that they're gonna say that. Like, we also have to worry about how we treat the animals that we feed our animals. Like,
and I get that
it doesn't mean just because they're going to die doesn't mean we can treat them poorly.
Yeah, we still treat them like
animals. And I get that it was a random occurrence and the guy didn't know it was going to happen, but then don't freaking post it. Like,
no, you delete that shit. You never talk about it again.
Yeah,
you go, wow, that was a terrible thing that happened. I don't want to lose my entire hobby because I posted this on Instagram, so I won't.
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
All right, this is like the last question though before the revolution round.
Yes.
So what's the most expensive?
Go ahead, Chris. What's yours?
I know this is a hard one.
I want to say the Moray Stranger Clown at Billy's.
What's the price tag on that?
Add that many zeros also.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah.
Yep. So the most expensive steak that I've seen and what it looked like was Skittles.
Oh, damn. You've actually seen Skittles?
She's going for the same, right?
Yeah.
Or I guess I actually just looked it up on Wharf Market. They lowered it to $39,876, so $39,876. I don't know where that number came from, but and everyone, or I guess for people who don't know Skittles, she's an albino pied paradox that has one red eye and one black eye, and supposedly this line of pied was producing paradox albino pieds with the two different colored eyes. Yeah. I happen to know a friend, and it wasn't convincing enough to me, the data that they had, to believe that it was truly genetic. I do know a buddy that bought into the Skittles project. He bought like a Skittles line pied.
Skittles line pied. I
Like
see
100%
them for
head
sale.
albino. It looks like a normal pied, but it's supposed to produce these paradox pieds. He bought that animal 6 years ago, and it's about 700-ish grams.
Yep.
So
There she goes.
that's
Yeah.
what I know about the project. All right, what did it look like, Chris?
Okay, so here's the funny thing. It literally just looks like a yellow snake. It's not actually all that special. That's the sad part. The Moray Stranger Clown literally looks like a pastel champagne after it washes out.
Oh, that sucks.
But that is the downside of the Moray/Monsoon project, because as soon as you start adding too much,
it's definitely going to be there's going to be a sweet spot with Monsoon. I don't think we found it yet, but there's going to be a sweet spot. Funny, I did just look up on Morph Market for kind of shits and giggles the most expensive animal. The most expensive animal on Morph Market is $40,000.
Oh, damn.
From Safe Haven Care and Quality. It does not look like anything special. And all it says is Super Mojave GHI Ghost plus new gene.
Nope.
And this is what it looks like.
Yeah, that's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
So yeah, 100%. So I don't know what it is. I don't know what the new gene is.
Hypo purple
Insane
passion.
and unique.
Huh.
I don't really see anything too crazy about that. That's kind of what I would expect, like a Super Mojave GHI Ghost to look like. But
yeah,
I might be missing something. I don't know.
You're not.
The other one on here is from Mac Knight Stables. I hope that there's a couple accidental zeros in this, because it's just a triple het lavender albino pied axanthic female for 40 grand, and it only weighs 35 grams.
I'm gonna assume that one's an accident.
Yeah. Or just a joke. Like I don't know. If anyone wants any of these, I have some, and they're not 50 grand.
Yeah, right.
No, you'll cut them a deal at 25, right?
Yeah, totally. They're pos heads, so I'll even go to 10. All right, just to make it. They're 100%
Making it irresistible now.
Oh, and they're pos head genetic stripe. So I mean, you add, there's 10
You
grand.
might as well not even cut the price down at that point.
I know. It's just.
Dude, I don't know what the most. I've been like looking and thinking. I don't know what the most expensive. I can't answer that because I don't know. I really don't.
That thing's pretty sweet.
This
was the next, just at 17.
I know somebody who might buy that.
So, oh yeah, nice.
It's pretty nice.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah. It's not me.
Oh, hey.
It's not me.
It'll be posted on Reptile Revolution's Instagram tomorrow. A quick teaser plug. But I was at the Herp Show and I did get to hold, and it'll be a video, the Pastel Mahogany Stranger, the Mahogany Stranger, the Mahogany, the Stranger, Pastel Mahogany. And in the video, the guy, Bryce with S&M, he's there. He talks about it. He talks about everything. And we're going to put that info out on the Reptile Revolution IG tomorrow for you guys.
Very cool.
Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah.
I love Stranger.
So was it worth it a lot because of the genetics rather than the look?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just a very hard combination of things that they got all matched together.
Yep. And this kind of goes back to the, having breeder animals and pet quality animals and explaining the difference between the two with someone who isn't looking at it from a investment or breeder standpoint. Yeah. Because I get people all the time, it's like, why is this one more expensive when this one is prettier? And I'm like, the way that I explain it is almost like supply and demand, right? Like you could buy a banana anywhere, but you can't get this gene, this gene you can only get from a few people, or.
That's right.
I might be able to help you.
There you go, Max.
No, that's a tease.
Ooh.
Yeah, had a good day.
All right. So that was what you were doing the 4 hours you couldn't take a nap.
It might have something to do with that.
That's badass.
I still will tell you guys after we're done, though.
Well, perfect, because it's time for the Revolution round. So
Yes,
fuck everybody
it is.
else. We're going to get the tea behind the scenes while we're smoking. Sucks to be you guys who's not us. All right, you ready for the Revolution round? It's going to be fast.
Yes.
1 rep max, bench, go.
Oh, shit. Last time I checked, that was like 265. I haven't gone to the gym in like 4 years.
Yeah, we're good. Your turn.
All right. Caramel albino or caramel albino?
Caramel.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
No, I mixed them up. Yeah, I'm a caramel guy. I'm caramel all the way.
Oh,
Yes.
he was like caramel.
Yeah, caramel.
I'm
I was like,
I'm
hold on.
purposely.
I was about to be like, God damn it. And then my ear
This
was
is like
wait.
he just yeah.
I love it. All right, awesome.
So do you run your shit tickets over or under your toilet paper? Your shit tickets.
It's got to be over.
All right, just making sure. We don't trust people who go under.
All right, this is not my question because I'm a woman. And I feel like this is rude to ask. But how old are you?
33.
All right, your best letter Kenny impression. Go.
I've never watched it.
What?
So good. Well, you about to give your balls a tug, Shirt Tucker?
I've been meaning to watch it. I just haven't got around to it.
It's so fucking funny.
I've heard many good things.
Yeah.
That's what I appreciate about you.
Oh, is that what you appreciate?
That's what I appreciate about you, Brandon.
Is that what you appreciate about me, Liz?
It is.
Okay, whose turn is it? Oh, it's yours, Liz. It's your turn.
Oh, how are you revolutionary?
Oh my God, that's a terrible question. No, for me, I mean, it's a terrible question. This is tough to answer because, like, we don't set out to do anything new and extraordinary.
Sorry. Clockwork Orange style. That was fierce.
Oh, to watch Letterkenny. Oh. I just said I meant to watch it. That's fine. Either I watch that or I watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine for the 15th time. Like,
Fuck no, Letterkenny. It's brilliant.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine's so good though. But no,
don't smoke before you watch it though. Those fuckers talk so fast, and it sounds like they're saying stupid shit, but it's actually really smart shit.
Oh no, like early Simpsons. Oh, you have to pay so close attention.
Yeah, they talk so fast. That's my thing. I'm constantly like trying to catch up and like put it together. It's good, but
I didn't mean to go off the rails from your question though.
Yes,
it's going to be a really lame answer, but like, I'm not trying to revolutionize anything. I just want to make the best of what I can with what I work with, and most of that isn't going to be anything new. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to make the newest thing. I don't want to make the next thing. I want to make the best of what I'm trying to make. And I don't care if one of those have been made, none of those have been made, or 100 of those have been made. And the reason Nick and I get along so well is because even though we are of very different opinions on many, many things, including genes, we're in a lot of projects that neither one of us had a lot of faith in to begin with, and then sort of won each other over. But because we both have belief in that. So
in turn, you're revolutionary because your competition isn't every other ball python breeder. Your competition is what you see when you look in the mirror.
Whoa. That was too deep, Brandon. What the fuck? I'm really glad I didn't smoke for this.
When I get serious, I'm like, it's like night and day, dude.
I have to keep him around for some reason, Chris. I mean, this is just one of the good ones.
Yeah, for real.
No, Brandon always slides those just deep observations in when you least expect them. You're just like, dude, what the fuck?
You'll fucking see me typing.
I thought we were talking about pizza. Like,
yeah. You'll see me typing during the show sometimes. It's literally because Brandon will say something like inspirational, and I come over to like my notes and I like type it out real quick because I'm making like a list of inspirational things that Brandon says.
Like what I said earlier, when I'm like, motherfuckers be like, oh, ball python's expensive, or I'm not gonna be as big as Billy or Miguel. No, motherfucker. If you want it, you'll find a way, not an excuse.
Yep.
Simple as that.
The one that I wrote down tonight was be uncommon among uncommon men. I was like, fuck yeah, it's going in my little book because I'm, I do that stupid shit where I hang like inspirational stuff all over my house. When people are like, I'm 5 minutes away, I'm like shit, and I go like ripping papers off the wall because my house probably looks like I'm an insane person. But it's enough that keeps me like motivated through the day on those days that I'm like, fuck, I don't want to do this, or I have so much to do, or this happened or that. Like I can literally look anywhere and see something like that's what I'm working towards, or that's the spatial. Like I have a picture of a giant, like pictures of a facility, like in several different rooms of my house, where I'm like, that's what I'm working towards.
If that's what works for you, that's like.
But Kyle's like, you look like one of those crazy people that like make the maps with the strings and like you do all that. Yeah, like I know. He used to hate it. He used to go through tearing stuff down. I'd go through like hanging it back up.
That's amazing.
I used to do the same thing. My first cell phone where I could put a picture as a save screen. I went to Barnes and Noble and I took a picture of the book section for self-improvement. And that was my phone screen for every year until I joined the Army. That was my phone screen, 100%. Absolutely.
Here is, right? Like this is my desktop screen.
I know it is. I've seen it. I have.
It's like a great quote, right? It's like every time I open my laptop, I'm going to succeed is the first thing that I see, you know? Works for some people, doesn't work for others, but hey.
I like talking shit.
Yeah, me too. It's my favorite.
I like being the uncommon. So I gave the numbers, like the 10 people, because me as a staff sergeant was in charge of 9 other people. And we'd be doing PT or whatever. And I'll just run past them, just like, pussy, and just keep going. Oh shit!
Maybe you guys.
But you do, Kathleen. Max is right, but you do.
No, Kathleen does have an accent.
Kathleen's
100%.
Kathleen is like Brazilian booty girl, thick ass accent, dude. That thing is like going to go to Quebec. I just did the live with her not too long ago. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, you guys were talking all that shit about me. I remember.
Yeah, I said great things about you.
I know you did.
I said beautiful things.
I'm like,
I painted you to be a fucking angel.
What's actually really funny was I was really busy that night, and like Kathleen was sending me invites, and I wanted to like pop on so bad to surprise you. But I was incredibly busy. I was hanging out with somebody that I hadn't got to spend a lot of time with, and like I didn't have time to pull away. So I was driving home, and I threw it up on my phone while I was driving, not to watch, obviously, just to listen to. Mm-hmm. And at one point, she messaged me, and she was like, "Just so you know, we're talking about you." And I was like,
"Yeah."
Oh no! So I was literally like sitting there, and it was like 3:00 in the morning. I'm driving home. I was tired as shit, so I'm just waiting for it. I'm like, "Oh, Kathleen's gonna start ragging on me or something like that." No, just like a shower of compliments. So I think I texted you literally at 3 a.m.
Yeah, you did. I didn't see it till 2 hours.
Awesome.
I didn't see it till 2 hours later when I woke up to work out because I'm a fucking madman. But yeah, yeah, dude, it was the truth, man.
That was a good show too.
That was a good show.
Yeah.
I think I put out more information on African soft furs in that show than I've done on any other show, which Liz, we definitely need to do that.
We did one, and it was when we first started.
It was so good, too.
So fucking good, and my phone froze when I ended the live, and it didn't save. It was when we were on Instagram, and we got Kyle on talking like true scientific digestive, like all that shit. It was the best live ever, and my phone froze up, and I went to hit post, and it like completely glitched, and we lost the whole fucking thing.
That's what we'll do. We'll get Kyle we'll interview Kyle on one.
Dude, he even mentioned, because I told you that with my new thing I might have going on Wednesday nights or whatever, he's like, well, I guess I could start doing some of them. And I was like, yes. And he's like, oh, fuck, I totally thought you'd say no. And I'm like, you and Brandon would probably fucking rock some live interviews.
No one would know what we're saying.
Probably. But no, it would be awesome.
Yeah. But anyway, I mean, we should definitely fucking cut sling load. That's what that means, cut sling load. That means if someone's dropping, just cut their shit, let them fall to their death. It'll be fast. Yeah. Chris, thank you for giving us 2 hours and 15 minutes of your valuable, precious shiny
this is super fucking fun, guys. This is great.
Awesome. Oh, yeah. Well, we're glad you had a good time. We're going to end it all here, guys, everyone, because we are going to go behind scenes and talk about this clutch. So with that, guys,
that means
we'll
smoke
see you.
pot.
Yes, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Later.